coming to you from the home of the mini trees. Inspirational, motivational, so come along with us.
Hi, welcome to Pixel Talk. This week's edition brings you an interview with Dylan Polley, a freshman at NYU, and a segment from Claire Langdon, who interviews Hunt Slonim. Hunt Slonim is an artist who is based in New York City and whose work has been admired by many celebrities, such as Mandy Moore, Kate Hudson, and J-Lo. Hi, my name is Riddhi Singh, and I'm broadcasting from New Jersey on behalf of Stanford Online High School students from around the globe. So, hello world. Along with us here today is Dylan Polley, a freshman at NYU. He plans to major in business, politics, and economics, and in his free time, he likes to play tennis and guitar. His guilty pleasure is pizza. So, nice to have you here, Dylan.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Since you're the first part-time OHSer on Pixel Talk, let's begin with your specific experience attending two high schools. What drew you to OHS that you think you could not have gotten at your brick-and-mortar school?
Yeah, I'm so grateful for OHS. I attended the Palo Alto High School, which is a brick-and-mortar school. I also attended OHS at the same time. I did part-time at OHS. And one thing for sure that I noticed I got from OHS was it really better prepares you than standard high school for college life. The format of the school is you go to lectures, then on your own time and on your own merit, you study for tests and things. I noticed that when you get to college, a lot of high schoolers are lost because at a brick and mortar school, there's quizzes and tests to keep you on track so you don't get behind. But once you get to college, there's like a midterm and a final. And that's kind of similar to how OHS structures their curriculum. So the fact that it prepares you to be self-aware of how much you need to study without like a teacher kind of guiding you along the way really has benefited me at NYU.
So, since you were a part-timer, how hard was it to develop any meaningful friendships with your OHS classmates? And were you able to make any good friends at OHS?
Yeah, so some of my best friends, Quinn, Barry, Gina, and Paige, go to OHS and we're full-time OHSers. I think that I made a lot of good friends through the summer session. So that was really fun. And it was like one of the best experiences in high school was going to summer session. And I think it's interesting because at OHS, I feel like kids are actually more inclined to be social because they have to take that extra step. And because of that, we're able to stay in contact better than standard brick and mortar high school friends.
We actually interviewed Quinn also on this show, so a few weeks ago. So you grew up in California, but you're attending NYU. I'm sure you've noticed and felt some big changes, whether it's from the weather or driving habits to the public transport. So what's one change you didn't expect?
I guess so. From California, everybody's really nice and everything. And then when you move to somewhere on the East Coast, there's kind of that stereotype that everybody on the East Coast is going to be mean. And I was expecting that change, but I was completely wrong. Everybody on the East Coast is, although they're more fast-paced, it's definitely true. West Coasters are more relaxed, but it's fast-paced in a good way, and they're definitely nice and confident and persistent about it. So although the attitudes are a little bit different on the East Coast compared to the West Coast, but overall it's all really nice. And it's kind of a fun environment, actually, the East Coast, because it pushes you to do more and fit more into your day. So I really like it.
Do you prefer one coast over the other now that you lived on both?
Oh, man. California and the West Coast will always be my favorite coast. West Coast, best coast. But I love the East Coast. Honestly, if going to college, I could not be more happy going to college on the East Coast. It's definitely a great place.
Right. So shifting gears, looking back, what would you do differently as a high school student that you think would be a smarter use of your time?
Smarter use of my time. I would have done more clubs. Clubs are a great way to figure out what you're interested in and find like friends who are also interested in the same things you are. I also would have been, I wouldn't procrastinate as much. I procrastinated a lot in high school.
Do you procrastinate now in college?
Sadly, yes. I've already done a couple all-nighters, so that has been rough. So I need to figure that out, but I'll figure it out.
So what's the most interesting class you're currently taking or plan to take at Stern School? And why do you find it so interesting?
So what's great about Stern Business School and any other business school is it kind of skips that, like, what I like about it, it skips that kind of liberal arts education that most undergraduates go through, which is basically, to me, would feel like high school again. So some of my favorite classes at Stern are, like, one of them is business, politics, and economics, which is my major. There's like a class that specifies with my major, and I have to take it for the next 4 years. And basically what we do is we learn like kind of business structures and business formats, as well as kind of old economics, like, and we apply it to current day economics and politics. So we kind of learn things and apply to present day issues. As well as I'm also doing a business simulation class, which is literally just there's a platform, an app, which it's like kind of like a competition. You have to better grow your business compared to your classmates. So all these types of classes I really like because I feel like I'm really learning new skills that will benefit me when I go into the workforce.
So that's interesting. And besides academic courses, is there any extracurricular activity that you're heavily involved in? And is this activity a continuation from high school, or is it something you stumbled upon during college?
So I've been playing a lot of guitar here. And that was a continuation after high school, and I love it. There's a lot of, at NYU, of course, there's a lot of like musicians. And I've also started going to college. I really wanted to do some sort of dancing, and for some reason I decided to do swing dancing. So I'm doing swing dancing now. It's fun. I highly recommend it.
So is it kind of like synchronized dancing or like in swimming?
It's so weird. It's like, think like 1930s or like really like fast-paced couple dancing. It's like really weird, but it's a fun time. Like you actually work up a sweat. It's like a workout.
So if not for NYU, what other college would you have attended and why?
Alright. So Stanford, of course, as all of you, was my dream school, and I would have loved Stanford just because it has a beautiful campus. I lived in Palo Alto, so that was basically my hometown. Um, and it's just like an amazing school. So I just grew up like always wanting to go to Stanford. But after getting rejected, and going to NYU, I feel like it's actually for the best because one, it's important to kind of go out of your comfort zone. NYU is completely out of my comfort zone. It's like you kind of skip. It's interesting if you guys are interested in going to NYU. You kind of skip that college life or like with like fraternities and stuff, and it's like almost like you're a young adult and you are in your own power. So that was really great because I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone. And after going here for about like, I don't know, is it 3 months? I could not imagine going anywhere else. This is the place for me. So although Stanford was my dream school, I could not be more happy.
Great. So let's move on to the rapid fire section where you can just answer in a couple of sentences. So are you an early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Has college made you a night owl or you've always okay.
So I have a 9:30, right? And that's like not bad. That shouldn't be bad. A 9:30 a.m. should not be bad, but it's the worst. For some reason, you get really distracted in college. I have 8 roommates. So it's really easy to get distracted. So I like to kind of like hang out during the day and then at night just get all my work done, just because at night you're usually not distracted as much. So I need to switch my schedule up.
One habit that you feel was so high school?
One habit that you feel is so high school. I feel like going on your phone under the desk was such a high school thing to do. Like they don't really do that in college, but yeah, that was a big high school thing.
Dream first job immediately out of college?
So immediately I want to work at a VC. Like that's the end goal, but that's definitely not what you do right out of college. So I'd like to study abroad. I would like to work abroad, maybe in investment banking or something like that.
Interesting. Most interesting or impressive person you've met in college so far?
Give me a second. Okay, I have a friend, and she's majoring in linguistics, I think, and she speaks, I think it was 6 languages. And I'm trying to learn. I'm still in the process of learning Chinese. Chinese at OHS is amazing, by the way. So I took Chinese freshman year. I think it was at John Lauscher. but I forget. Anyway, and then in high school, and then when I transferred to my brick and mortar school, I started taking Chinese in that, and I was like better than all the other students just because of OHS Chinese. So OHS Chinese really, or OHS language, I bet, just really sets you on the right path because it gives you a really strong foundation. So I'm trying to learn. Sorry, I'm like digressing. I'm trying to learn Chinese right now, and it's like super hard. So I have a lot of respect for people who could just like fluently speak a bunch.
How many courses did you take at OHS?
At OHS, oh man. So freshman year I took 5, and then after freshman year I did part time. So I took 2. I took what was freshman year? Was that sophomore year? I think that's HSC. HSC was an interesting class. I had Heather Walker-Dale. Yeah. Yeah, so it was great. I personally did not like that class, and I would definitely like Heather Walker-Dale was amazing, but I cannot do philosophy for my life, like philosophical things. So I'm doing a business major, but yeah, so I took like after 5 classes freshman year, I did 2 until senior year. Oh, I took Design Your Life. I also highly recommend that class, and leadership was a great class too. So I did a bunch of like 1-credit classes, so those are great.
Interesting. So imagine the internet being down for a full day. How would you spend your time?
I'd play a lot of guitar, a lot of guitar. I'd also probably the internet down for a whole day. I'd probably like go for a walk, and I'd probably hang out with people. So that'd be kind of nice, right? Like nobody would be on their phones. It'd be kind of nice.
And how did you learn guitar? Like, did you teach it yourself, or did you get lessons?
Yeah, my sister is a music major at Columbia, and her main instrument's guitar. So two years ago, she taught me like the basics, and then from that, I kind of learned. And then actually, my suite mate is a music composition major, and he's amazing at guitar. So he's been teaching me a lot of stuff. It's been fun.
So if you were the president of the United States, what is one thing you'd try to accomplish in the first 100 days?
Oh. Yeah. I would definitely make some improvements to the HUD. I think homelessness is a huge problem in the United States, and it's kind of like nonpartisan. It feels like that's just something that we could all agree on that we should solve and we should put money towards. So I'd make some changes to that. Yeah.
So that concludes our interview for today. Thank you for spending your time with us and talking to us about life at college and your past life at OHS.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if any of you have any questions about NYU, feel free to ask me.
I am.
Okay.
All right. Hello, Mr. Sloanham. My name is Claire Langdon. Thank you for having me at your studio today.
You're welcome.
It's very nice to meet you.
Likewise.
When did you start painting, and what were your inspirations, and how have those shifted and changed over the years?
It's a tough and lengthy question. I started painting when I was a little kid. When I was in first grade, we had to draw a picture of what we wanted to be when we grew up, and I drew a picture of myself standing at an easel painting. And my grandfather painted, and he always sent us his paintings and reproductions of famous artists. So I kind of, grew up in a military family, so it was the warm, fuzzy, wonderful part of my life at that time, and still is. And I just decided that's what I wanted to do really early, and I wasn't conflicted. I had no idea how I was going to do it. That comes later. In the beginning, it was just an obsession with the visual and escape from the mundane, gray world of the military environment I grew up in. And then it just turned into finding an inner voice, as time went on. I moved to New York after I graduated from school in Louisiana, Tulane, in 73. And I'd gone to the Skowhegan School of Painting and Sculpture in Maine and met really major artists, and was encouraged to not go to graduate school and come here, and I did, and that was quite a learning experience, and continues to be, and the struggles of keeping it all together, and living here. I've had 6 different studios in the last 20 years because they keep tearing my buildings down. But, I've kind of found my voice in nature and spirit, and that's my source of inspiration.
That's great.
And it's very hard to keep it all going. I'm very persistent and dedicated and disciplined at what I do.
That's a great quality to have, and it's also a nice metaphor that earlier on in your life, your painting sort of added color into your life.
Right. Well, it's how I house my experiences in the world, and I travel a lot for shows, so I get color inspiration from wherever I go.
All right, well, kind of more of a fun question, but what is one of your favorite places to travel in regards to your estates, and why?
In regards to
Your estates. So where
which
you
ones
spend
do I
time.
like?
Do you have a favorite one or a favorite place to be? And if
I
so,
love
why?
them all. I'm thrilled in Louisiana in my old plantation homes.
How'd you originally end up in Louisiana?
Well, I went to Vanderbilt University. I have Southern roots. My grandmother's from Chattanooga. I have 9 uncles and millions of cousins all over the South. So I started out at Vanderbilt because my mother's sister was living in Chattanooga, and I had no idea where to apply to school. And I got in, and I had been an exchange student in Nicaragua in high school, and I wanted to go back to Latin America, so I spent my sophomore year in Mexico, in Cholula, Mexico, at the University of the Americas, and then I realized I better go to school in the States. And I'd always wanted to be in Louisiana, but never had, even though I had family there. And so I was able to transfer there, and I took Louisiana architecture as one of my electives. That's when I really got fascinated with plantations in particular, the architecture. The newest one that I'm hoping to acquire is by Henry Howard, the most famous antebellum architect.
Wow, that's impressive. And lastly, what would you say to someone who's interested in a career in the arts, who feels that they should pursue a more mainstream career?
I just tell people to do what they want to do, because it's never been easy, so.
Right, but at least it's an enjoyable process, right?
Well, it's challenging and inspiring, and it's what I want to do. I'm not conflicted, I'm not wishing to do something else. I'm totally thrilled with everything that I'm doing. It doesn't make it easy or a pleasure every minute of the day. But I love it, and I love the whole, and it's becoming such a big thing in the world now. It wasn't as,
Art.
yeah, it's just so huge. I mean, it's just beyond comprehension. Even the art fairs and the online stuff, and, it's so mainstream.
Thank you so much for meeting
Oh, you're
with me.
welcome.
Your studio is beautiful, and your art is
you.
amazing.
Thank
Very
you.
inspirational.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Until next time.